Okay, I just want to preface this by saying that I'm watching like Connor's RV stream. I have headphones in, and yeah. Hello everyone, I'm gonna be doing Get Ready With Me while also talking about the 2 books that I read recently, which I haven't been filming vlogs because I have not been in the mood for vlogs. I think this week I might be able to film one. I tried to film like 2, but I didn't really like how they turned out, so this is what you're getting. Get Ready With Me. Let me get started first of all so that this video doesn't end up being like fucking half an hour long. Recently, I finished reading I'm Glad My Mom Died by Janet McCurdy. I think I talked a little bit about it in a vlog. I completely finished it, so. And then I also finished It Ends With Us by Colin Hoover. I started it in a day and I finished it the day after. I want to show you guys the book that I want to read next, which is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. It's one of the classics and I'm very excited to start reading it. First I want to start by talking about the book that I started reading first this month and that I finished first this month, which is I'm Glad My Mom Died by Janet McCurdy. This is an autobiography and it has it has 304 pages. There were a lot of things in this book that I could relate to and a lot of things that I was like, oh, that I was hearing like on first account for the first time. But it talks about Janet McCurdy. She's an actress, director, now writer as well. If you guys know her, then she was on iCarly and then she was on Sam and Cat, which I know a lot of people grew up with those shows. I did not, for once. I didn't know anything about this. So when she was like describing episodes and talking about like all the movies that she's been in and when she did like casting and like auditions for all the stuff that she's been in, I had no idea. I didn't grow up with cable or anything like that, so all those shows that are supposed to be part of childhoods, I did not grow up with any of that. I also knew about Dan Schneider and like all this weird shit. So when she was talking about him, I was like, ooh, that's a creepy. And obviously it's about her mom, as her mom was very abusive. The book also talks a lot about eating disorders, which is something that I thankfully can't relate to. It was a very good book. I really liked it. I learned a lot about Miranda Cosgrove, which I was not expecting. Apparently she was very nice. Oh yeah, and oh my god, that this book put a whole new like twist on the whole like, because a while ago it became like a meme because Miranda Cosgrove did like the reboot of iCarly and a lot of people were like, oh, Jeanette's not in it, and like the whole Miranda like face meme became a meme again. It was also I think around the time that she was like, I also curse a little, which was like, it was so cute. Miranda is so fucking cute, and from like Jeanette's perspective that I read in the book, she was also very nice, so I can't fault her. And you guys should definitely like read it as well if you have the chance. I'm pretty sure there's like an audiobook online. I think it appeared to me on like my suggested on YouTube, so you guys can go listen to the audiobook if you guys want. I feel like a lot more people should come out and tell their stories from like, if they want to, obviously they're not forced, about like being child actresses and actors, because a lot of them turned out victims or turned out abusers. So then we have obviously the one and only It Ends With Us by Colin Hoover. I will say that the title did its job on me. I'm pretty sure that that's what the title was supposed to do. You're supposed to think like It Ends With Us is about like a couple, just like It Ends With Us being together or some shit. Or at least that's what I thought. Maybe I'm just fucking dumb. But that's how it ends. Spoiler alert, I guess, if you want to read a book at this point. A lot of people have read the book, but I've heard a lot of things about this book, especially with people around me. And let me say that it was an experience. I think I gave it a 2 out of 10 on Goodreads. I feel like for a book about, and like trigger warning, domestic violence in general, I feel like for a book about domestic violence, it was a little too lighthearted, the way that I was reading it. Like I said, I finished it in 2 days and I was like, this doesn't feel like it's about a serious topic, even though it is a serious topic. I think it's just Colin Hoover's writing. I was flabbergasted by her writing, not in a good way, because maybe it's what I read, but I've seen so many people being like praising her like as an author and like a writing and stuff like that. So I was expecting something out of this world, and what I got was teenager who was writing a fanfic about a serious topic for the first time. Because the way she described some things and the way she like made the characters talk, I was like, what the fuck is this? I did not expect this. I expected the writing to be a little bit more serious and the story to be a lot more serious than it was. And also there were so many weird like aspects to it that it bothered me so much because it was so weird. First of all, why are the people all around the rich? Like, is that a common occurrence? She opens up shop, and first of all, the business is immediately a success, which that usually doesn't happen. But she gets a person walks in and is like, I want to work for you. She's like, okay. It's like, I'm rich, but I want to work for you still. What was that whole interaction? Like, that was so weird. Which is Alyssa, and then she's rich, and then Ryle, which is the guy that she's like the first guy that she has a crush on, also is rich, real rich. He's a neurosurgeon, he's real rich. And then Atlas, which is the guy from her childhood, is also rich. And then like Marshall, which is the guy that Liz is married to, is also rich. How the fuck does that happen? How do you get so many rich friends? The fuck? Like, please, Calling Over needs to release a guide on how to get rich friends, because I don't really understand that part. The story is about a girl named Lily Bloom, which also, again, like the names in this book, Ryle, fuck off. The names in this book are horrendous, atrocious. At this point I would rather get Sarah J. Maas level type names than fucking Ryle. It's about Lily Bloom. She has a very, very troubled childhood because her mother was abused, domestic violence from her dad, obviously. I mean, not obviously, but from her dad. And then she grows up, her dad dies from like cancer, if I'm not mistaken. She has to go give like a eulogy, I think that's what it's called in English. And she freezes up and she goes to the rooftop of a building to go think about it. No, think about her life, not to think about the eulogy, because she ended up not saying anything. To relax. And then as she's there, a guy comes in and starts punching a chair, which is always a good sign of a good man, is when the first thing that you see about him is violence. And this guy's name is Ryle. They introduce each other, and Ryle's like, they introduce to each other a thing called naked truths, which is that no matter what's going through their head, they say it to each other like it is. No matter how private it is about their lives, no matter how serious it is about their lives, they tell it to each other. And so Ryle is like, oh yeah, fucking like kid killed another kid because they found a gun in their parents' room. And I had to like look at that, and she was like, oh fuck, that's bad. And then Lily's like, oh, my dad, you know, I froze up and didn't say anything at my dad's eulogy, so that's embarrassing. And then they start like this thing about like naked truths, and then at some point Riley's like, I want to fuck you. That's my naked truth or whatever. And Lily's like, well, I'm not a one night stand type of girl, so fuck you. I mean, she doesn't say fuck you, but she should have. And then that's it. About 6 months later, they see each other again, because Alyssa, the girl that walks into her store and is like, I want to work for you for free, is actually Ryle's sister. Because is this when they start dating? I don't even know. I think they start dating like after. What matters is that they start dating, and then they get married in Vegas, I think. And then Ryle hurts her like once, and then she's like, you bitch, you better not hurt me again. And then he hurts her again, and then she's like, bitch, I'm gonna leave you. And then one night he ends up hurting her real bad and almost rapes her, to which she then actually leaves. And she goes back to Atlas, which is her childhood like crush. Sheila. Also, this book has a pregnancy plot, which the only pregnancy plot I'll allow is the fucking a quart of silver flames with Fair and Riz. That's the only ever pregnancy plot I'll ever allow, because this one was just weird. The way she, like, the book ends is with her like delivering the baby, which another thing that I found weird. Alyssa got pregnant with like not with Marshall, like her and Marshall wanted to try for a baby, like Alyssa being Ryle's sister. And they named their kid after Ryle by adding another E to his name. They named him Riley. Isn't that fucking weird? That they named their kid after... Alyssa named their kid after her brother. Isn't that weird? I found that so fucking weird that they were like, I want to name this kid after the most important person in my life, but I'm gonna add another E, so instead of Riley, it's Riley. Isn't that fucking fucking weird. When I was reading that, I was like, what the fuck is this? I was so flabbergasted by everything that was going on. I was like, this is not normal, this is not natural, this does not happen. This type of, what? Is that normal? Also, the whole behavior, the whole thing around like Ryle being abusive was so weird, because the people around Lily and around Ryle didn't act like that was a weird thing that he was doing. They just acted, like that's a part of him that he needs to fix. But that's alright. We all make mistakes. We're not bad people. We're people who make bad decisions. Fuck you. Abuse is not a bad decision. You're just a bad person. When it comes to abuse, I'm very like black and white. It's just like, if you've hurt someone once and then you say sorry and then you hurt someone again, chances are you're gonna keep hurting that person. At the end, the reasoning, like for she's giving birth, like I said, it ends with it doesn't end with that, but it ends with Lily giving birth to Ryle's kid, and she's like, Ryle, we need to get a divorce. And then he starts crying, because obviously he does. It says, I begin to cry because he's hurting me as much as it's hurting him. Ryle, I say gently, what would you do if one of these days this little girl looked up at you and she said, Daddy, my boyfriend hit me? What would you say to her, Ryle? He pulls Emerson to his chest and buries his face against the top of her blanket. Stop, Lily, he begs. I push myself up straighter on the bed. I place my hand on Emerson's back and try to get Ryle to look at me in the eyes. What if she came to you and said, Daddy, my husband pushed me down the stairs. He said it was an accident. What should I do? Shoulders begin to shake, and for the first time since the day I met him, he has tears. Real tears that rush down his cheeks as he holds his daughter tightly against him. I'm crying too, but I keep going, for her sake. What if my voice breaks? What if she comes to you and said, my husband tried to rape me, Daddy. He held me down while I begged him to stop, but he swears he'll never do it again. What should I do, Daddy? He's kissing her forehead over and over, tears spilling down his face. What would you say to her, Ryle? Tell me. I need to know what you would say to our daughter if the man she loves with all her heart ever hurts her. I would beg her to leave him, he says through tears. I would tell her that she's worth so much more, and I would beg her not to go back. No matter how much he loves her, she's worth so much more. And that's how, like, I guess this whole part ends. And then she says, I kiss her on the forehead and make her a promise. He stops here, with me and you. It ends with us. Which, that's what the title of the book is. When I first read it, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, I didn't see anything wrong with it. But the more I thought about it by myself, I hated that when it comes to abuse, there always needs to be a justification as to why it's bad. And I don't like that, because abuse is bad. The end. You don't need to be like, abuse is bad because what if? There always needs to be a what if. What if that was your daughter that was suffering through that? What if there was someone else that was going through that? What if that was your sister? What if that was your mother? These what ifs need to stop, because it just needs to be, abuse is bad because you're hurting someone. The end. You hurt me. That's what's bad with it. It's not the hypothetical. And let me not even mention the logistics that come afterwards, because she gets a divorce from Ryle, but he still gets, like, she still allows him to go see the daughter, which the very mechanical part of my brain is like, that makes sense. Is that he has the right to go see her, but at the same time, do you really fucking trust him? Because these men had no, like, emotional evolution throughout this whole book at all. It didn't change at all. Like, his way of thinking, his way of acting is the exact same. Also, this monologue at the end doesn't convince me that he's changed just because he was like, yeah, I would tell her to leave. Just because he had that reflection about his daughter doesn't mean that he's going to be able to control what actually happens to him, and like his blackouts, as he called them, and like him being abusive. Like, that's still going to continue to happen. So what if that happens to your daughter? Because there's an event that she describes in the book. Lily's father was hurting Lily's mother, and Lily tried to intervene, and her dad pushed her, like, and hurt her. She had to get stitches. So what makes you believe that Ryle is incapable of doing that? Like, you described that event where your dad hurt you, and you're not capable of thinking that there's going to be an event like that where Ryle could hurt your daughter. Like, that's fine. Also, her daughter's name is Emerson Dory. That is the ugliest name I've ever seen. I understand you're a child, but like, goddamn, you are going to be so fucking bullied. Emerson Dory. That's the funniest part about this as well, is that in the beginning, while she met Ryle for the first time, she was like, oh, my name is so unfortunate because her name is Lily Bloom. Her name is Lily Blossom Bloom, and she makes it a point that she hates her name because it's really, really unfortunate that she's Lily Blossom Bloom, which obviously it's a little bit of a corny name. And then she names her daughter Emerson Dory. She names it Dory because when she was younger, she really liked Ellen, which is also a very, very fun part of this book, because there's this part where it was like, Ellen, I hate rich people because they're kind of mean, but I know that you're good. And then obviously with everything that came out about Ellen, I was like, this aged very poorly when it comes to Ellen. This is one of the parts that, like, my annotation was r/I'm a 14 and this is it, because this is what he said. I feel like everyone fakes who they really are, when deep down we're all equal amounts of screwed up. Some of us are just better at hiding it than others. It's like, you are a neurosurgeon, you don't talk like this, bitch. I know you don't. This is I just made it funny annotation. It's like, my children wouldn't be. Not many people have the drive I do, so I'd only be setting them up for failure. That's why I'll never have any. This is basically him bragging, saying that he's like is too good at his job to have children. I just wrote here, like Sigma Male once said. Another red flag, shakes his head. Oh, I'm way too selfish to have children, and I'm definitely way too selfish to be in a relationship. Somebody tells you that, bitch, you take it at face value. You run. I don't really need a job. I just saw the sign and thought, what the heck? But I do get bored sometimes. I'd be happy to help you with whatever you need. Cleaning, decorating, picking out paint colors. I'm a Pinterest whore. If somebody who's looking for a job tells you that, don't hire them. Fucking throw them out the window, maybe. I read it, I made some annotations. Towards the end here, I kind of just gave up, and I just wanted to read so that I wouldn't take a lot more time. Oh yeah, by the way, the ending is she ends with Atlas. Like, she runs after Atlas and she's like, hey. Oh, where's the other noise? Stupid, I hated this book. It's not like a 1 out of 5 because, whatever, it isn't, but like a 2 out of 5 for sure. I was like, I There's so many things about this book. I read these 2 books. I gave you my opinion on them. Like I said, I didn't film any like reading vlogs for any of them, or any vlogs I don't think reading them. So I apologize for that. But I'm not in my vlogging era, I guess you could say. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys the next time you decide to watch another one of my videos. Bye bye.